my chest wall, and it ended up being inside near my sternum and dangerously close to my superior vena cava, causing excruciating pain. I would like to note two things here, if I could. First, if you're not getting scans every 3 or 6 months after treatment has ended, please ask about it. I know if they tell you it's not necessary or that markers will tell you whether there's a problem, just consider my story, especially if you have more than one provider. You are the conduit. Each provider may think the other has it covered, when in reality, maybe neither are surveilling as well as they could have in order to catch something at a much smaller size. And it's a tough realization when you thought that, cancer was a bump in the road and suddenly it becomes a sinkhole. You realize, at these times when you need others the most in that care, you have to rely on yourself that much more. And the most important life lesson I can share with you is be your own advocate. You're one of many patients, but you're one and only to your family. And the second observation, which, as a mother, I'm thankful for, but as a patient, I was pretty irritated. The speed at which things were moving in 2017 as opposed to 2013 when I was pregnant, it felt with the recurrence that it was slow and painful. And that cheering section, no one knows what to say, but I'm so sorry. 2 weeks before I had that pain in my chest, I shook my head at the death of a coworker. She had quickly passed of stage 4 cancer, and I uttered the words, "I just can't imagine. I don't know what I would do." And, caregivers and friends, the number one thing folks want to say, "But you look so good." Mm-hmm. We want to feel good. We want to, look good. We want to be good, but we're not good. Or maybe we're good and then we're not good. I mean, this can change 100 times in one day. It's just a roller coaster. So I found myself having days where I was angry at the world, days when I didn't know, if I'd see my kids beyond elementary school, and these emotions would just repeat and repeat. I remember who I'm doing this for, my boys, my husband, my family, who've been just rock, through everything, so supportive. And for anyone else who feels like giving up, just keep going. Keep making yourself and others feel as good as you can.
So back to your first point, which I think is a great one, and be your own advocate. What verbiage can you share with someone that doesn't want to rock the boat with their doctor? I know so many people that they don't want to question because they all of their trust is in their doctor. And I think that there are a lot of good doctors out there, but I know my late husband would always say, they call it practicing medicine for a reason. So what advice can you offer to someone that really has that like gut feeling like something's not right, but they're trying not to rock the boat with the doctor? How can they approach that conversation with the doctor?
Well, that's such a great point. I mean, what Michael had to say, even a major educational hospital can and will say of some cases, we just don't see this. And, the answers aren't always crystal clear. What should we do? You are so individual, and you know what? Your cancer is probably just as individual as you are. So I would say, question everything. Like, start with the data. Like, who do you know? What other patients have something similar, cancer-wise, and the clinical picture, how everything fits with, whether you're triple negative or, it's hormone-driven, start with the data. I know that you may not be able to conduct the research yourself. I've been very, very involved in trying to find as much information as I can on every aspect of my diagnosis. But ask them, tell me what data you have. Like, if you're recommending this treatment, show me the numbers and show me some of those people that have come through that treatment and have done, so well. press them for that information. That's a place to start. And if they can't give you that benefit and that assurance, or they just want you to rely on what they say, then you might want to consider going elsewhere, because an oncologist should be a partner in this. This is your life. You only get one life, so you owe it to yourself to make sure that you're asking these questions and that you feel comfortable and that you can confidently move forward.
And I think that that's great advice, because I really believe that there are many people, like I said, they don't feel comfortable being able to ask questions or to even question the doctor, period. So to your second point, after the second diagnosis, what is it? Was there one thing besides just keep going? Is there one thing that you were telling yourself on a daily basis? For me, it would be extremely difficult for me not to continue to ask, why me? Why is this happening to me? Wasn't it bad enough that I went through this the first time? It's horrible, but you see people that are out there walking around not doing anything to change the world, that don't have little boys, and they're, they've not been touched with anything remotely as horrible as what you had gone through. But that second diagnosis must have been a blow. What was it that you had to tell yourself every day to flip your perspective? Because attitude is everything. Like, you can't go through something like this with a stinky attitude and make it to the other side. So what is it that you had to tell yourself every day just to keep going?
Right. Well, the perspective, and I even thought of it today. I just had another PET scan, which was clear, thank the Lord. But the perspective is, whether I live for years tumor-free or have lesions come on rapidly, there are no guarantees. The risk of living is dying. None of us know when it's our time. I mean, I can say that death, or at least near death, is very peaceful, because I experienced that. I spoke to my husband saying goodbye in 2013 after the amniotic fluid embolism. In reality, I was intubated. I was saying all these things in my mind, but it felt peaceful. I didn't feel anything other than just sadness that I wouldn't be there to care for my children and to be with my husband. But, there was only just sadness and disappointment. And it turns out, that we're only fearing for death when we're alive. I fear for it all the time. I think a lot of us do. But, as many, many wise people have said, you can't fear death so strongly that you forget to live. Mm-hmm. So live your life, find consolation in normal routines, but also find some time to do some extraordinary things when possible. Like zip lining in Colorado, or turning that 7-hour trip to your PET scan as a time to connect with your spouse, and find joy in stopping at the same restaurants each time you pass through. For me, what fills me with a sense of purpose, keeps me going, is without a doubt my boys, my crazy, energetic boys. They need me. My husband needs me. I have tears and laughter trying to imagine how they'd get along without me. But also sadness thinking that someday they will, whether it's 2, 10, 20 years down the line. We just don't know. But I want to leave everyone with the knowledge, 2013 and 2017 were different. You still have family and friends caring for you, hoping you're doing well. In 2013, you feel like, it's something you'll leave behind. It's something that happened, and then you're good. Living with and managing a chronic disease, it's different. Even the fundraising for metastatic breast cancer, it's just a tiny fraction of what's funded for research. And I'm no less a mother now with metastatic breast cancer than I was when I was expecting a baby. I would love for everyone to do more for stage 4. And if you feel you can't be a hot mess and still impress, I think I may have changed your mind. You'll always appear stronger to others than you feel. You never know who is watching you and drawing their strength from you. I mean, I've been very fortunate and delighted to have some close to me share their sentiments, and know that you, Kim, and all of your listeners and guests have been an inspiration to me. And I draw my strength from all of you. Thank you so much, Kim.
Well, you are truly an inspiration. I can't imagine hearing those words the first time that you have cancer, and then hearing the words the second time that you have cancer. So thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you, and I'm grateful that you were here to share your story with us today.
Thank you, Kim.
So if anyone has any questions or comments or would like to know more about the guest on our show or more information about Hello Gorgeous, feel free to contact me at kbecker@hellogorgeous.org or visit our website at www.hellogorgeous.org. We invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and download our mobile app. Thank you for joining me today on Hello Gorgeous, everything beauty, cancer, and inspiration. I'm your host, Kim Becker, and until next time, stay gorgeous.
Hello, gorgeous. Welcome to HG Radio, everything beauty, cancer, and inspiration. Here is your co-founder and host, Kim Becker.